Bears. They're gonna run, they're not gonna attack.
Grizzlies,
Oh, that's a different
that's a
story.
whole different.
Yeah. Grizzly or Kodiak or something, yeah, you better watch out for those things, yeah. They're carnivores.
And moose, I don't want to, moose are different than a deer. They can be aggressive. I got trapped in the outhouse once.
I'm doing a lot of work up in Vermont and Maine now, so I'm gonna be going up there.
Vermont's beautiful.
Needs to be,
It's really nice.
anyway. Hey,
4 minutes early even.
I did.
How you doing, Cindy?
Hi, from Lancaster.
Hey, Cindy, what's Sean Marshall doing with this garbage?
I don't see.
Not sure who's the chair.
I'm
Chris McCollum.
Hi, Chris.
So I'll be, you mentioned the O'Reilly out
Yep.
I just wanted to go in there again.
Okay,
But it's really
great.
not their task
See if you
to.
have any questions or comments, or if
So
there's
from the
anything
town, we hire
Well, I know.
we always have
for
something.
them to keep
But if
cleaning
there's any
them,
other
but the things
procedural
that are being
items that
dumped
you-
in there,
One of these.
you know.
Not right now. Yeah, we'll go through the hearing.
Camera up or something?
There'll be comments from the board members, there'll be comments from
the
the
try to
engineer.
identify who they are and what they're doing is difficult after they've done it.
Because you know, the garbage trucks pull in and they pull away.
Yep, because the things are blocking.
started, yeah, it's all started.
Yeah, or box spring,
I don't
it
know
was
how-
blocking
I don't think that
access.
answered your question.
Waste
No,
of
they
move very slow.
I know.
Maybe they should dismantle it.
So it's been quite a problem.
Yeah, and whole back is
And
smashed.
really, it was more so.
You look at those
Cars.
draft drawings that Philip sent you?
Yeah, I responded, didn't I?
You might have.
Oh, no, I think I did, yeah.
But it's pretty good, you know.
I know you responded about the spec formatting.
No, I went over and looked. It's
I think he's got a really good handle on it, we just gotta get the specs.
Tyler.
Actually, the guy that do it went a little farther with detail than I expected him to. I didn't check to see how much time we spent on it yet, but they looks good though. I didn't study every note, but Philip's pretty good. And what happened? I didn't talk to Philip. He came here Friday or Thursday, and I wasn't here. Did he get up in the clock tower? Were you with him or no?
I was not. I mean, I coordinated them to meet the firemen, so I assumed they got up there.
Okay.
Well, like your
Because we were going to try to replace some of the wood around the clock. And we didn't know if that ran behind the clock.
Yeah,
So we're hoping we can see the framing on the backside and trying to figure that out.
yeah, they replaced, the clock just got repaired, they replaced the phase, that black around it is actually plexiglass.
Oh,
So that's probably attached to framing, it's gotta be, it's somewhere.
yeah, I would think it's exposed framing on the inside.
Yeah,
So that's what we wanted to check before we assumed you could
attached to it.
fix the wood or take the wood out. Philip's a good technical architect, so yeah, we got a good guy.
Travels a long way.
Yeah, he lives out in Eden, or out on Route 5
Yeah.
somewhere. It took us like 20 or 25 minutes to from his house because he was over the Skyway.
But yeah, and I know he said he comes in early, so he misses all the
Yeah,
traffic.
I usually get there at 7. He's there before me almost every day. So he's usually there between 6:30 and 7 every day.
Yeah, he's ahead of the traffic.
That's it.
He's ahead of the traffic.
That's one of the reasons I go in at 7 too. I mean, our hours aren't until 8, but
Yeah,
especially during school, trying to deal with that traffic. I
it's
hate
amazing, when school's out, the traffic just goes,
you're all stressed out before you get to work in the morning. So
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. If you could please, we're going to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Cindy.
Chair Torenzo.
Here.
Rebecca Anderson.
Here.
Adam Lopez. Anthony Gorski.
Here.
Joseph G.
Here.
Lawrence Korzenski.
Here.
Michael Reisel.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is a meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster. Please keep in mind that we are an advisory and recommending board and not a final decision-making body. The rules of the Planning Board allow us to recognize only the petitioners of the various projects and their representatives. We ask that anyone wishing to make comments do so in writing. Okay, for the board now, we have a review of the meeting minutes from June 21st. Any additions or deletions or comments? Look for a motion to accept them.
So moved.
And a second.
A second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, thank you. Next, we'll move on and review the communications list.
Wait, is that okay?
No questions. Okay, great. Oh, okay, yeah. For those in the audience, we're just waiting for 7:05. We have a public hearing scheduled at 7:05, and we have to wait until that time before we can start the public hearing. Okay, I see it at 7:05. We're going to move now to a public hearing for subdivision of 60 Pleasant View. Can I get a motion from somebody on the board? Open up the hearing.
I so move to open the public hearing.
Great.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Yes. Petitioner, please.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Elizabeth Holmes Ducharme of Rupp Falls Graph on behalf of the property owner at 60 Pleasant View Drive. We're here seeking a recommendation of approval of a minor subdivision for 60 Pleasant View into 2 lots on behalf of the property owner, Mr. Sircone. Back in June of this year, the town board issued a negative declaration with respect to the minor subdivision application. The current lot is 5.5 acres, and Mr. Sircone seeks to subdivide for about 4.9 acres from his existing property, which is improved with a single-family home. He is under contract to sell that 4.9 acres, and we are looking to move forward with closing the sale. May 16th of 2023, Code Enforcement Officer Ficione sent a letter to the planning board identifying just one issue with the proposed subdivision, and that's that the existing driveway, if the property were to be subdivided, violated the setback requirements of the code. So my client has removed that portion of the driveway to comply with the code, sent photographs to Mr. Ficione this morning. I think he had an opportunity to confirm that the smaller lot will now be code conforming when the subdivision occurs. I believe it now meets all subdivision requirements for the code, so we're seeking a recommendation of approval to the town board. We're seeking to be in front of the town board, I believe on August 7th. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Any questions from the board?
Questions from me?
Ed? Matt, any questions from you?
Yesterday, the driveway was addressed.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, I'll call for anybody in the audience if they want to speak on behalf or against this project. Again, I will call anybody in the audience who would like to speak about this project. One more. One last time, anybody in the audience care to speak on this project? Okay, I will make a motion then to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? At this point, I'm going to move to make a motion to accept the subdivision.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Great. We will make a recommendation to the town board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is the seeker and review of local law revising Chapter 400-16D, commercial and/or unlicensed vehicles in residential areas. We've got to go to our long form now. Number 1, proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site. Number 2, proposed action may result in modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site. Number 3, proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies. Number 4, proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer.
No.
Number 5, the proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding. Number 6, the proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source.
No.
Number 7, the proposed action may result in loss of flora or fauna. No. Number 8, impact on agricultural resources. The proposed action may impact agricultural resources. Number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. The land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or are in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource?
No.
No. Number 10, proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource. No. Number 11, impact on open space and recreation. The proposed action may result in a loss of recreational opportunities or reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan. No. Number 12 does not apply. Number 13, impact on transportation. Proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems. No. Number 14, impact on energy. The proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy. No. Number 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. Proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting.
No.
Number 16, impact on human health. Proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. No. Number 17, consistency with community plans. The proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans.
No.
No. Number 18, consistency with community character. The proposed project is inconsistent with the existing community character. No. So that completes our seeker review.
You need a recommendation.
I do need a recommendation.
I'll make a recommendation for a negative deck.
Second.
On this secret.
Okay? It's been seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? So we'll make a recommendation to the town board. Great, thank you. Now we'll move on to the rezone petition of 5767 and 5775 Genesee Street. Mr. Metzger, if you wouldn't mind, please. Good evening.
Good evening. For the record, this is Michael Metzger with Metzger Civil Engineering, 8245 Sheridan Drive, Williamsville, New York. And with me tonight is my client, Doug Wicks. As you know, we were with you at the meeting in June, end of June, and at that time we were asked to prepare a subdivision application in order to help initiate the seeker process. We've submitted an application, a subdivision plan, and a grading and drainage plan since that last meeting, and that is all in support of the prior rezoning application and all the materials that go along with that, plus a seeker full environmental assessment form. So I believe you have everything that you were looking for on that. We did get a little ahead of ourselves with the grading and drainage plan. I know the first step obviously is seeker and rezoning, and then after that we will need to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals for some area variances before we come back for the subdivision, but we wanted to make sure you had all the materials that we will be submitting in anticipation of that subdivision review. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, and hopefully we can move forward with seeker and a recommendation on rezoning.
Thank you. Board members, any questions for Mr. Metzger?
I have to abstain again for the reasons previously stated. Mr. Wicks is a client of mine.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Ed, any questions from you?
Not this time. Still reviewing.
Okay. Matt, any questions from the building department? Councilmember Mazer. Board. Okay. We should probably move on to seeker at this point.
Yeah. On the rezone.
On the seeker on the rezone, right, right. Need a motion for that? Okay. And that's long form, right?
Did they provide us with-
Yep.
We did provide a long
Long
form.
form, right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Number 1, impact on land. Proposed action may involve construction on or physical alteration of the land surface of the proposed site.
Are we doing, we're only doing the rezone?
Correct.
Okay, then no.
Number 2, impact on geological features. The proposed action may result in the modification or destruction of or inhibit access to any unique or unusual landforms on the site. Number 3, impacts on surface water. Proposed action may affect one or more wetlands or other surface water bodies. Number 4, impact on groundwater. Proposed action may result in new or additional use of groundwater or may have the potential to introduce contaminants to groundwater or an aquifer. Number 5, proposed action may result in development on land subject to flooding. Nope.
When we rezoning, when we get to site plan review, we're gonna have to say yes.
Okay.
At this point, no.
Number 6, impacts on air. Proposed action may include a state-regulated air emission source. 7, impact on plants and animals. Proposed action may result in loss of flora or fauna. Number 8, impact on agricultural resources. The proposed action may impact agricultural resources. Nope. Number 9, impact on aesthetic resources. Land use of the proposed action are obviously different from or are in sharp contrast to current land use patterns between the proposed project and a scenic or aesthetic resource. Number 10, impact on historic and archaeological resources. Proposed action may occur in or adjacent to a historic or archaeological resource. No. Number 11, impact on open space and recreation. Proposed action may result in loss of recreational opportunities or reduction of an open space resource as designated in any adopted municipal open space plan. 12 is the critical environmental areas we do not have in the town, so we'll skip 12. 13 is impact on transportation. The proposed action may result in a change to existing transportation systems. 14, impact on energy. Proposed action may cause an increase in the use of any form of energy. 15, impact on noise, odor, and light. Proposed action may result in an increase in noise, odors, or outdoor lighting. No. 16, impact on human health. Proposed action may have an impact on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants.
No.
No. 17, consistency with community plans. Proposed action is not consistent with adopted land use plans.
No.
No. And 18, consistency with community character. Proposed action is inconsistent with the existing community character. No. So I think we could make a motion on this then?
Someone can.
Next up.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Abstain.
Joe is abstaining. At this point, we need to get a motion to set a public hearing. And due to the scheduling, the next public hearing is not going to be until the 16th of August. We can set it at 7:05 on the 16th. And I will make that motion. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Great. So we will actually see you at the public hearing. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Right.
Thanks.
Next, we will move on to the preliminary plat plan for the minor subdivision 2-lot split at 728 Aurora Street. If you wouldn't mind, please, your name and address for the record.
Todd Adamek, 728 Aurora Street, Lancaster, New York. We're looking to put a building lot in the front northwest corner of our property for possibly sell or build something, build a house. I guess that's about it.
Board members, any questions?
So you live in the adjacent existing house?
I do.
You live in the existing?
Yes.
Thinking about having your property surveyed to do a lot split is told you that your concrete's on the neighbors.
My concrete's on the neighbors?
Whatever.
What it looks like.
Stone drive, yeah, your driveway.
No, that's my neighbor uses that. He lives in the back. The night guy to the south of me.
Oh, so you let him use it?
Yeah, he comes and goes. He's got a little shop in the back, so he comes up and goes in the gravel thing. And
You're just curious, I was just curious why it was like that.
oh, yeah, we sort of share the line, and he does what he does and leaves me alone.
You're next door to,
Two Chicks and a Rooster,
yeah,
Dan Curtis.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions? No. None? Okay. Move on. Ed, any questions from you?
No, not until something's proposed to be built.
Matt, any questions from the building department?
Nothing further than what was mentioned, the June 22nd comment.
Okay. Councilmember Mazer? Emily, anything from the law department? No. Okay. I believe we have to set another public hearing for this one. So I will again make a motion to set the public hearing for 8/16 also.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So we'll set a public hearing for 8/16.
Okay.
We'll have it at 7:10 for you. 7:05 will be for the previous applicant.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can move the process along.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to special use permit seeker review. The Tim Hortons at 5827 Broadway. Mr. James, would you like to? Hello.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
Good. So, is anything changed since last time you were here?
No, I got a letter from the town engineer, because he had gotten a letter from someone in the highway department. That was county, yeah. So that was sent to me, so I read through it. It had some mild recommendations, but that was the extent of anything new that I know of. Anything new on your end?
No, we're gonna have to go through and reopen the seeker, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk if you had anything that you wanted to talk about first.
No, I don't think so. I'll talk afterwards too, if there's any questions, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to hang out up here or go back?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Cool.
So at this point, we're gonna have to, I believe, reopen, have a motion to reopen seeker.
I'll make a motion to address seeker for 5827 Broadway.
And I think we're looking at item number 5, if I'm not mistaken. I think we resolved everything else but item number 5.
I don't have my,
You had a clear one today, it was in your file.
I know. I've got one here.
You can use
I was trying to
mine.
remember.
I'll let you.
No, I was trying to remember what we had left, and what we had left open was the traffic.
Right,
Was the
traffic,
traffic.
right.
And it was because of the change, or the fact that we finally knew who your tenant was going to be.
So you made a motion, can I get a second to reopen seeker?
I'll second it.
Okay, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So,
Where did we leave it? We left it that you had information you needed to obtain from DOT.
from New York State DOT, right? And I believe that Ed has some information.
Yeah, both the county and DOT. County responded, and Lucas has their comments. They want the double drive-through.
Double stack.
Double stack.
Stack drive-through. They want a new traffic study done after 1 year. And then if there's anything from that that has to be done, you still have a year to do that before the special use permit expires, so you aren't up against the wall time-wise. DOT has not gotten back to us. However, I'll give you my professional opinion regarding what I think they're gonna say, just dealing with it for 40 years.
Don't they only have the 30 days to?
No, they only have 30 days to respond to seeker, which they've done.
Right, right.
Technically, the agencies have no timeframes. And it's very frustrating. We've got projects for we wait a year and a half for comments.
Well, they already approved this project and site and everything already. That's probably why they ignored it. My suspect, anyway.
But they came back once it was a Tim Hortons and wanted to see. So I've given them everything the county did. They have all that documentation. In my view, they have basically three options. One really isn't one, but it's an option. Option would be one, no driveway on Broadway, but they can't do that. They've got to give you access on Broadway. Number two, they would say no, but they really won't do that either. I think where they're going to go is a right out and right in only on Broadway driveway. I would strongly suggest there is a Tim Hortons in Lockport on Transit Road across from the Tops. It sits at the corner of Transit, which is a 5-lane state highway, and a town road. The main entrance for that is off the town road, which is light controlled. The entrance to Transit is restricted, right in, right out, only. It's been there for a long time and it works great. There's never been any issues. Knowing that you haven't poured any curbs yet, really, on Broadway.
I missed that. What's that?
Knowing that you haven't poured any curbs yet on Broadway.
Yep.
My recommendation is you make that a right in, right out only. And that, from your perspective, you have mitigated to the greatest extent possible anything that they would come back and ask you to do. I can't make you do it, but I'm giving you my opinion. Get ahead of them.
Yeah, that's a fair recommendation. I think, I think a couple things. Number one, if we do a right in, right out only, my understanding is that it would force more traffic to Bowen, which
It will.
I'm not trying to do, to be honest. My second thought is I would prefer to mitigate any risk possible, so I would tend to put that off, the curb off as long as possible, which I can do. I don't have to do that anytime
Okay,
particularly
that's,
soon.
sure, that's, yeah. If you
So
wanna
that would
hold out until we get,
Yeah, that would
see if we get
essentially-
comments from them, that's fine.
Yeah, essentially that would buy them a lot more time. If they want to make that recommendation, they could. I can't see it helping Bowen though, which is I'm a little more concerned about Bowen, to be honest, because we're already shutting off one of the accesses from Broadway, and as per the DOT recommendation.
Right, the one closer to the intersection, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, I totally hear you, so we'll wait and see if they have any other recommendations.
And I would say, if you get a chance, do yourself a favor, go up to the one in Lockport and take a look at it.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll definitely check it out for sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's,
Yeah, I mean, they already issued a permit on this job. I guess I wouldn't think that they would come back and try and change anything, but they can do whatever they want, so I'm ready if they do, you know?
I mean, and like I said, I'm just, from my experience, I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I gotcha. Although this is a little different because it's kind of been approved already, and then kind of went for reapproval, you know, even though it was the same use as intended. So, anyway. But yeah, appreciate that. What else should we discuss?
That was the only one that was left open was number 5, which talked about whether proposed action result in adverse change in existing level of traffic or construction for mass transit like a walkway. And we weren't sure what DOT was going to say. So we have addressed the mitigation. We have the options for you for physical construction. We have addressed the traffic study after a year, right?
That would be a condition of the permit.
Got all that information? That's
Yeah, that was in the letter that went to them.
Yeah, the letter went, so that is those are our conditions that tells us we've mitigated to the maximum extent. So I'm ready.
So you're ready to call that a
I'm
no?
ready.
No or small?
Call that a no.
No or small and make it a negative deck?
With the note that.
Conditions, yep.
The mitigation is as we've discussed, and we may have to spell it out a little bit, but Cindy, you have all that, don't you, from previous, right? So.
To be clear, what is the mitigation is?
The mitigation is that.
That I get a traffic study
You
and
do
a
a traffic
comparable?
study after a year of your special use permit.
Right.
At that location.
And at that location.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then,
Repeat the same style I had done, do it again. I get that. Anything else though? Was there anything else?
No, based on that study, if there was something in that study that said something else needed to be done,
Right.
you had a year to do it before the permit was up for renewal.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would come before you guys if it was something ambiguous.
If you had to modify the site, you'd be back here for a site
that
modification.
renew after 2 years.
It's a 2-year
Right.
renewal
Right.
for special use permit.
Right.
But they're saying the recommendation is to get a traffic study after 1 year.
Right,
Correct.
thank you. That gives
Which
you-
I don't mind doing that. Was there any other?
You've already
The double,
added
the double lane, which you were doing.
The traffic, the other mitigation is your 2 traffic lanes to inside. Double stacking inside the property.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess I have some comments on that. I figured it would be a point of discussion. I read the letter from the gentleman from the highway department, which, have you guys read that?
I haven't seen that.
We've got it from you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was it's almost surprisingly informal. He said he sat in a parking lot, he counted cars that came in at a different Tim Hortons in a completely unrelated situation, in my opinion. So it was just, it wasn't like an official recommendation. It was based on he's like, well, my feeling is to be safe, we should do this. But it was extremely informal, based on no facts. And it was kind of based on his disdain for previous traffic studies, actually. He made a comment in there. So I don't think that we should do a double stack. Like, I'll be clear though, if that's a condition of having 2 lanes going in and merging into one for the drive-through, I will do that. It'll, but it doesn't seem necessary is what I'm saying. We're more than meeting what the code is. The code is 10 car stacking. And we're at 14 plus several more in the parking lot before we get to the road. So I guess I'd want the board's opinion on if that is really necessary.
Yes.
And if that's...
We do think it's necessary, and going back to our last meeting, I do believe that you actually said that you would do double stack.
I did. I clearly, I'm saying it again now.
Yeah.
I don't think I should, but I will if that's what the board is saying is needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is what the board is saying?
That is what we're saying.
Everyone kind of
yes.
agrees on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And after a year when you're doing your traffic study, if you find that your most customers you've ever had stacked up is like 6, that's.
Well, it'll be more than 6, to be fair, but...
No, it might be moving faster than you think, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Or faster than we think.
You
Yeah,
take
if
a
that's,
look then.
yeah, maybe that makes it look, better to the town board as well, that we're making, adding that extra, so.
Yep.
So, okay, if that's the condition, I do agree, and to do it that way, yes.
Okay, those are the two conditions, the traffic study after a year, and if there's any mitigations, obviously you have a year to get that taken care of before your special use permit expires.
Yeah, yep.
And then the double stacking.
Okay.
And then we're waiting on New York State.
Yeah, if you're willing to wait, that's fine, you know, I mean, there's gonna be a point in time where you're gonna say, okay, I gotta get this curb in, and then,
Yeah, well, there's a gentleman that works at the DOT that I worked with before, it was pretty easy to get along with, that lives right on William, right on the corner, so I'll just give him a call. He was very, very easy to work with.
Great. So I think that we were ready to make a recommendation, or a motion for a negative declaration, if I remember correctly.
All right.
Are you going to be doing that?
I'm wondering if someone else wants that glory.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it.
Okay, Larry.
I'll make a recommendation for a negative debt with the conditions stated.
Any second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We will make a recommendation to the town board for a negative declaration
I'm safer
on C
for Tim Hortons.
for the special use permit.
Special use permit.
Yep.
It's been a long road.
Yeah. Well, it's not, he still has more to go, but.
It does, but you know,
And just so you know, Mr. James, we did have a conversation before you got here, and there was an administrative snafu for the last meeting, and we apologize for that to you.
It's okay, I appreciate it, these things happen.
Mr. James, tell us how you're doing with tenants and who they might be, and the place looks great, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, like I said in the beginning, you know, I was trying to raise the caliber of, you know, of building in that area. Go from a vacant, ugly lot to a really nice, high-end building, you know. Tenants, so, I have, well, there's the Tim Hortons, of course, and then, the tenant right next to the Tim Hortons is gonna be a Synergy Hyperbaric.
I say,
It's gonna be a Synergy Hyperbaric. It's kind of like an alternative medicine type of clinic, small, kind of low traffic.
Hyperbaric chambers?
Yeah, fascinating, by the way, if anyone's not familiar with what they are, fascinating, amazing. But I'm in discussions with a physical therapist as well for the largest remaining tenant space, but that's not signed yet. And there's been a fair amount of interest in the other space that's remaining. But I've turned down a few people. I don't want to put a smoke shop there. I have no interest in doing that, and I don't want to put a dog groomer there. You know, so no one's yet in the fourth.
Okay.
how about the apartments?
The apartments will rent like that.
Okay.
Yep. Too early for those. They're not
I
ready.
just wonder if people are giving you the, quizzing you.
We haven't even put them up
Haven't
yet.
mentioned it yet.
Yeah. I built a Ledgestone Village up in Alden, right near town line, right across from Lancaster. And so we have a waiting list, and as soon as we have an apartment ready and we get a CO, we have people moving in.
You get a nice
So-
looking building like that and people just come to it.
Yeah, huge kitchens, high end,
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, now we'll move on to site plan review for O'Reilly Auto Parts, 57 Transit Road. Please state your name for the record.
Yes, good evening. I'm Chris Boyer with Bowler Engineering, and we're here tonight to give you an initial presentation of a proposed redevelopment project for the site that's located at 5057 Transit Road. I've got an aerial exhibit here up on the board that kind of just orientates us as to where 5057 Transit Road is located. Currently, there is a single-story ranch home with a concrete driveway, and it is adjacent to a very large, as you can see in the aerial here, automobile dealership that's up here. We're proposing to redevelop this. It's a fairly small project. It's less than an acre of disturbance that's here. with a 7,450 square foot O'Reilly Auto Parts store. The entire lot is only 1.25 acres. So it is a small scale overall development here. There is some wetland that surrounds the site. The site's pretty well maintained with the home and the lawn that's there today. We're simply redeveloping the maintained area and not really encroaching into any of the wetlands around there. This is a great site for us as it can't support a bigger box type retail store, and it works really well for us with our smaller 7,400 square foot footprint, and we're able to stay within the confines of the currently maintained property. It is zone correct, so that's good. We're not looking for any zoning changes, and I believe we are zoning compliant. So retail is an allowed use here in the general commercial zone. We do have public water and public sewer at this location, and it's important to note from an environmental standpoint that our documented water use and flows at other O'Reilly Auto Parts stores are much lower than a typical one-family home would be. A typical family home might use about 400 gallons a day with showers and laundry and those types of things for a family. And we're hovering around the 100 gallons a day mark. So from a demand on water system and a demand on sanitary sewer system, it's far less than a typical retailer. There is no production of any food or odors or things of this nature. It's a very clean, dry goods retail business that's there. We have worked with New York State DOT, and so I'll go to the site plan next. It shows how we're going to redevelop this site. At the top of this exhibit, you'll see the edge of that large automobile dealership that's there. There is a small residential property. Well, it's commercially zoned, but there's an older home that's here. And then this is our property here. As I mentioned, we're just staying in the front of it where it's maintained grass out there today. The existing driveway for the residential home is in generally the same spot that we have. We're just expanding it a little bit to accommodate our commercial driveway. And New York State DOT operates with 3 stages of review, which you might be familiar with. And stage 1 is when they look at conceptual orientation and layout of the site. And we have secured DOT's general acceptance of the orientation of this drive. And there is a lot of traffic gaps here that allow for full movement access, as I can attest to coming from the site just now tonight. Also, from a traffic standpoint, O'Reilly Auto Parts doesn't have a huge volume of traffic, so it's not a huge traffic generator, and it would serve the greater 10-mile region of folks around this area. There are other auto parts stores that folks can go to beyond that with O'Reilly. From a sign standpoint, I'm not sure if this board's interested in signs. Since a head shaking, we're not proposing any variances for our signs, and we're maintaining one monument sign that would be out by the road, and we're proposing one building sign that's on the building. From what we can see, that those are code compliant. Before I get into building elevations, which I did bring with me tonight so that you can get a look at those, just to walk through the site plan orientation a little bit, we talked about reusing the existing driveway location and general proximity. The building here is shown in brown, and then the green is grass or vegetation area around. We will have parking that is on two sides of the building here. And we've proposed our trash and service door in this back corner here. O'Reilly does like to use a concrete curb and wing gutter. It's a little bit beefier, so you might see this additional concrete that comes around here. Costs a little bit more, but certainly will hold up for many years, and is something that they like to see from a maintenance standpoint. From a pedestrian access, we've proposed a pedestrian connection from transit up here to our front door. So we've submitted a full plan set for review, and I believe the town engineer is taking a look at those at this time. It was pointed out that there was a checklist provided to me tonight with some additional items that he would like us to provide, and so we'll go through that as well. But been a full plan set with landscaping and lighting and things of that nature provided to the town for review. And the building elevations, up here at the top is the facade that would face transit. So this would be what most of the traveling motorists on Transit Road would see as they pass by. This is the rear of the site, so this would face the wooded area in the back, and I believe the only person that's going to see this is the person maintaining the cell tower that's located behind our site. And then those are the two sides that are proposed there. So I'm here tonight to answer any questions or comments that the board may have, so that our hope is that we can move it through the process as soon as possible, as we are under contract to purchase this, and it's our responsibility to move it through the permit process as fast as we can. So any direction from the board as far as that process would be appreciated. Thank you.
Any questions from the board members?
I have a question. Does O'Reilly's have a parts delivery service? Do you deliver parts to like mechanics and auto shops and things like that? You have run a little truck or anything?
Yeah, so O'Reilly's does deliver parts to different automobile service facilities. Sometimes from a small location like this. This is the smallest location. There are larger O'Reilly's in the area, and we call those hub locations. Most of the parts are delivered from that hub location to that, not so much from this smaller facility. However, there is such a large automobile dealership in this area, I wouldn't be shocked if they just
Walk down the side.
walk down the street. There.
You just drone it.
I was just curious. I see different companies delivering parts to different repair shops.
Is that facade EIFS? Is that an EIFS facade?
That's correct.
May I ask who did the landscaping plan? Is it through your company or is it?
That's correct. We do a lot of O'Reilly's work across New England, and so they have their preferred layouts, and our landscape architect takes care of that.
And do you have any other O'Reilly's in Western New York right now, in Erie County, nearby right now?
This is an area where we're pushing into. So you might start hearing radio ads for O'Reilly's. They have a jingle that might become familiar. And we started in the eastern side of the state first, Albany market, and then pushed over into Utica, then Syracuse, Rochester. And so that marketing is continuing over here into the Buffalo market.
So you're out of Albany?
I'm actually out of Rochester. There's multiple offices that are there. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just reading what it says here. I was just, when I look at a landscape plan, I look for native species, which you have. I don't, whenever someone comes in with a exotic or something, it's like, no. I just cut down all my Colorado blue spruce because they're all diseased. So if these get, it's a fungus going around. So as your trees mature, they either have to be sprayed for a fungus for maintenance, or replaced with a species, or change a species that this isn't happening to. If you look around Western New York and you specifically look at Colorado blue spruce that are around everywhere, they're sick. They're very sick. So I'm just saying that because you might up front want to mention that they might want to change to something else. It could be hardwoods. It could be oaks or maples or Norway spruce, but please don't go with Austrian pines. They don't last too long either. Or Scotch pine. The soils aren't right here. And if these guys are coming from New England, different microclimates.
So Riley's is out of central United States. So think St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, well, that's totally different.
Yeah, no.
They have no clue then what Western New York is.
They're pushing in. They're populating the state from New England over this way. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Because and it's a flat roof.
that's correct.
Yeah. Put 5 feet of snow on top of that and see how it does. Are they designed for snow load? Of course they are. Of course they are.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. I just want to bring it up now just in case they missed it.
We've got them open in Syracuse and for a few years, and the snow belt of Tug Hill and everything else. So they're aware of it, for sure.
I'm sure they are. Okay, thank
Anything
you.
else, Rebecca?
No, I'm good. I wanted to know if they're going to be driving around delivering parts.
Any other questions from the board members?
I just had a question. When we did the Dollar General on Broadway, and there are also 2 other ones in Orchard Park and I think West Seneca, we asked the developers if they would come up with a better looking sign, something that doesn't necessarily match what the code is, but something more low rise and not so stark.
Yeah.
Have you considered what this sign is going to look like on Transit? Because I mean, there's nothing around you, so I don't think you need this gigantic sign, do you?
Well, what I can tell you right now at this given point is that it's code compliant, what they're proposing. So we're not looking for any additional height or additional size. And
But would you consider something closer to the ground?
I think so. I mean, what I'm hearing is a monument style sign is,
Okay.
and that would be lower to the ground versus a pole sign.
Okay.
Of course, there's not a lot around it right now, but we're hoping as a town that we see a lot more development going on over there.
Sure. This is one of the best sites for development, just because of the surrounding wetland that was there and everything else that we found. So
There won't be anybody behind you,
I don't think so.
ever.
I don't think so. I think it's just going to be us on that spot for right now.
Thank you.
Ed, any comments or questions from you?
No, still, I gave them some comments on the drainage that they've got to address before I finish the site review.
The calcs don't meet the town code, yeah. Emily, anything from the law department?
No, I don't have anything.
Matt, anything from building department?
Nothing further than was commented in the June comment letter, but I will, just the point, they did a great job providing ADA access to the front door on that public sidewalk. Sometimes we have to request that and pulling teeth to get that inserted. They're way ahead of it.
Cool.
Great. Councilmember Mays or anything? Okay, think we're good then, right?
I have no more comments.
Yeah. Well, we have to do seeker on this one.
We have to do secret,
Yeah.
so we can't,
So we have to table it.
we have to table it because we have to come back and do secret on the site plan. But there's no rezone, so it's lickety split in comparison to what we've been doing earlier tonight.
So then we'll do a motion to table?
So from a seeker perspective, we did submit a seeker form. Is that just procedural that it would wait till next week or excuse me, next
It'll
month?
go out for coordination.
30 days.
30 day. Yep. Okay. Perfect.
It's adjacent it's on the State Highway, and we have our transit access management plan. And
I have it, there's no one.
nothing changes on the access management, right? Because it's-
No, I'll kind of make sure they have provisions for it in the future and not blocking it off.
So in other municipalities, I know that there's a motion to circulate for seeker. Does that happen, or it just is?
It goes out to outside agencies.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we'll have to check with the attorney's office whether they sent it out yet. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't.
No, I haven't.
So once it's sent out for review, then we'll wait 30 days to get from that.
And who sends it for
The attorney's office.
your office?
Yes.
Okay. Great. And did you need any additional copies from us, or?
Nope, we have everything we
Okay.
need.
All right. Perfect.
Motion to table?
Motion to table. Somebody want to make a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
Okay, great, we'll table for,
Get a DEC permit before you can get final approval through. They will give us lead agency status probably.
I'm sure.
I'm sure too. They don't want to have to do it. So you've got your application in with them. We will get a comment letter back from them as part of the 30-day review. And that's the only agency that I suspect is going to have any comments besides DOT's curb cut.
Great.
And so I don't anticipate there being any big issues because it's they might have to put it out in the environmental notice bulletin that you're using the 100-foot buffer, but it's not a new disturbance.
Correct.
Okay.
So when this gets circulated, then it's the town's intent to be lead agent, and we'll see what the other involved agencies say. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, but at the end of the 30-day review, we will be doing your secret review.
Okay, and just so that I can tell O'Reilly's before leaving here tonight, when we come back, hopefully in 30 days, that next meeting is August 16th, is it?
It's 30 days from when the letter.
you're not gonna make,
We've got it confirmed.
you won't make that meeting because of the 30-day.
Okay, no problem.
30
So,
days after they go
So
out.
it'll be the first Wednesday
16,
of
September 6th.
September.
September, yeah.
Yeah.
September 6th. That's a ways away, so I just want to make sure, is there anything else I can be working on between now and then?
The design calcs that you talked
Absolutely.
about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if we get through all the engineering stuff by that point in time, then a couple things can happen that night.
And then at the September 6th meeting, this board could potentially review seeker. It still has to go to the town board, is that correct?
That's fine.
Yes.
So after seeker, then it would go to town board?
We would review seeker and do your site plan review at the same night.
Gotcha.
And then we would recommend.
Make a recommendation to the town board.
Which
Yeah, it works.
then it would be their next meeting,
Okay.
most likely.
We should do the third weekend, in September, third Monday in September.
Okay.
That would be
18. Yeah.
18th.
And now that's all predicated on us having the application, the seeker in town.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. And where I'm going, and you might have already figured this out, is are we going to be able to get a shovel on the ground this year? That's kind of why I'm asking the questions as winter will be here. It's funny, it's hot, but winter will be here.
very, very quickly.
So it's possible. It's possible. Okay.
Could be pouring concrete in the snow, but
All right, well, thank you so much, and I appreciate your help and counsel.
Thank you. Presentation.
Thank you. Anything else from the board? Anything the board wants to discuss? Ed, anything new from you, or anything else you would like to discuss?
No, I passed out that review, I'm tweaking that, it's got a few more revisions, but I'm trying to do that so it's complete, so that
At
trash everything as we go.
first blush, it looks good to me.
I'm gonna add the stuff on the outside agencies, make sure we don't miss that, with water, sewer, highway, whoever's involved.
Emily, anything from the law department? Matt, anything from building department?
Nothing, thank you very much.
Councilmember Mazer. I just give you an update on what we've done so far since our last meeting, outside of our regular meetings. We had a meeting in the supervisor's office last week with Matt, the town attorney's office, Cindy and myself, and Supervisor Rufino actually was in the meeting. We had a discussion about the application that goes into the county for subdivision and trying to make some changes to that. Right now, we're in the process of having actually the town attorney make some calls to surrounding communities to see if they're in the same predicament, and then also making contact with the county supervisor to see if there's anything that they've experienced similar for other communities. And I don't know what the result of that was. I haven't seen anything come back yet on that. Have you, Matt?
Well, we've had the code officials all responded in kind. Everything got sent over to the town attorney's office. And he's making some communication, as you said,
Yep.
county, real estate.
What he said he was going to do is contact the county attorney, and then also the surrounding communities as well, the attorneys from their communities, to see what they're experiencing.
Same thing.
Yeah, and you were going to do the same thing with the.
All the responses were then forwarded to the attorney's office.
Okay.
It's pretty much a very common issue.
Yeah, so we're working through that. We also are taking a look at a couple of other things that we're trying to, we've been trying to work on the scheduling again. We had a little bit of a growing pain, I guess is probably a better way to put it, right? It's not, where it's getting set, I know we talked about this before, but I sent it out to the board. It's going to be set from the chairman's position and through with Cindy as well. And then we're alleviating some of that lift from what used to be on the building department's shoulders. So I think that's starting to go in a different direction, and I think hopefully we'll be able to fine tune the dates and make it a little more user-friendly. And I believe that it did go out Friday. Tony, I know that you said that you hadn't seen it, but we'll make sure that if there's somebody that's missed it, everyone gets picked up on it. But we thought it might have gone to you. Yeah.
I might have missed it too, so.
Yeah, it's possible. But we're going to try to get it, at least by Friday and possibly even by the Thursday beforehand. That's what we're shooting for, so everybody has it. It's just a little more work on our part, but we'll take care of that. And was there something else we're working on? That's right. We don't have a meeting scheduled, but we're shooting for a meeting on Friday of this week between Matt, Ed, Tom, and myself to start talking about planning department and what we can do to try to speak to the town intelligently about getting a planning department established. Not sure where that's going to go, but we'll at least start having some dialogue.
It's a great start.
Other than that, that's all I have. So at this point, I'll look for a motion to, actually, I'll make the motion to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
So we don't eat for a month, and they put a brewery up across the street. I'm sitting there.
Have you been in there?
No, I haven't been in there.
It's a nice place.
All right.
I think we're gonna wind up there. You going there? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You leave me alone. That's going on your cruise. That's all right.
Where are you going?